Hi everybody, I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life, or stacyforlife.com. Yes, it's true. It's January 2020 and I'm sitting here in a tank top today. Anyway, I can't get the whole gist. I'm my own videographer still. So, it's all about choices. And that's what today's video is about. It's about the choices with conflict and confrontation, part 2. So, we said last week, we talked about the person who cowers and tries to avoid conflict and confrontation, that they need to, remember their validity and think about their validity in their argument and how to argue. This person over here also needs to learn how to argue too, because raging is not arguing. Raging is taking over the thing. So both of these behaviors are self-sabotaging. So I'm not a clinical psychologist, so I'm not trying to come to you from a place of telling you what's causing this person's behavior and what's causing this person's behavior, because in essence, really what it is they're both kind of learned behaviors. This person learned that their words weren't important or that it wasn't valid, and this person learned that you get your way through bullying, although it doesn't work for either of these people. And so then it's about taking responsibility and owning our stuff, because as I talked about with flight or fight, if you do that, then it's just going to keep on. It's the same scale over and over. And what's going to bring you peace? This is what I want to know, is what is going to bring you peace? Just leaving that relationship, going to another, to where you yell again and you hide again. It's doing things different, like one thing at a time, and staying consistent with it. This person needs to understand what it is that they really want and desire to have in the relationship. I know for myself, I've been asked at times, what do you desire? And it's like this. And then, I was asked, well, what does that look like, when I was in my training and stuff, and having a life coach myself. And I had to think about that. What does that look like? And so sometimes we may, if we're watching TV, see TV people that are dealing with conflict and confrontation the way that we would want to. Or maybe we see couples that we admire their relationship. We need to find out what they did to get what they have, and so it's learning and being able to say, I need help. It's unfortunate that so many of us, even as adults, are afraid to ask for help. I know as a child I was afraid to ask for help in the fear of looking stupid. And I guess, today I was talking, or not today, but one day this week I was talking to somebody about, I don't care what kind of names you call me, but if you call me like stupid or something like that, I don't like it. So therefore, I don't call anybody stupid. I try not to call anybody names. Of course, there are labels that when you're studying this stuff that's linked on people, but really even the labels don't really define people. People's behavior does kind of define them. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, because there's no way around it. If somebody's raging, they're raging, and they're going to be called a rager. And if somebody's being complacent, they might be called a doormat. So, but to call them that isn't a solution. And that's what I don't want to promote. That's what I don't promote on these videos, is that duality. If you ever look, I'm trying to see how people can find their own happiness, their own peace, and to learn how to do and be that and spread that in the world. Because really, when you're more happy and peaceful, this person is going to have less grief. Even if they're a person who their body chooses to rage, that they're feeling unhealed wounds all the time, you can still be at peace over here. I'm not saying that you have to stay with it, because certainly if it's an abusive relationship, you need to say bye-bye, because some of these things are not going to change. I've looked at narcissistic personality disorder, and those people aren't going to realize their things and change. They can't. They are love, and they're lovable, but at the same time, they can be very hard to deal with. So you better be a person over here that is strong in your own convictions, your own value, and your own worth, and your own purpose in this world. It's not your purpose to be somebody's doormat or punching bag. Okay? Over here, it's not their purpose to be your doormat or punching bag. You may have to rage at yourself and accept responsibility for that, and if you're not going to work on it, So hopefully we can learn to accept responsibility and change just a little bit. When I'm working with people, I encourage this person over here to do one thing a week to try to do something different than what they've done in the past when dealing with conflict and confrontation. And I would also encourage this person over here to be able to take more time before they rage on a conflict and confrontation. Once they feel that, to sit with it and breathe with it and think about, both of them can think about, where is this coming from, this fear, because they're both in absolute fear. And that's the sad part. And how do you combat fear? You combat it with love. But it's only if the two people are willing to work on it. If this person is not willing to work on it, which is much of the case, at least so far in what I've dealt with and stuff, then you may have to say goodbye with love. Be like, I'm grateful for the catalyst of you helping me get to learn and know myself and realize my value, but I have to do what I need to do to make me happy. Do you understand? And you have to be understanding to know that if you don't change your behavior, then that's probably what's going to happen if somebody gets healthy on you. So we can both choose to have a healthy behavior, but to do that, you have to take responsibility for it. We have to cut out the unreasonable expectations we put on each other and sit with our own selves and what can we do to make this a better thing. I know for myself, I used to cower and be a doormat and stuff, and then I would be passive aggressive. There's all kinds of labels you can put on stuff, but it didn't help. Those things didn't help. The only thing that helps is addressing it full force. You may need a life coach. You may not. You may just need one good ear, one good friend who has their shit together, that has everything going in their life that you want going in your life. So that's probably where we're going to find the validity. However, if we hang around with sick people, we're going to keep getting sick results. You know, if you're hanging around with people who are cheating on their partners and are being bad to their partners, you're going to keep cheating and being bad to your partner. You know, that's going to be a reflection of what you desire. So what we desire is a reflection. So if you want what other people have, you've got to do what they did. And with that being said, I hope that this video has been able to help you some. I'm going to share a quote from Don Miguel Ruiz before I close. So here it is. Don Miguel Ruiz is awesome. I encourage you, if you haven't read The Four Agreements, which is one of the most popular books ever about handling our stuff, then read that. But also one book that I got was The Mastery of Love when I was dealing with my wounds and everything else, because both of those sides that I talked about earlier, they have wounds. So The Mastery of Love was an awesome, awesome tool. And every time I got pissed off at the person I was in partnership with, I would go read that book, and I got a little bit stronger, a little bit better understanding, a little bit, where I had unreasonable expectations, and I was able to, when that relationship was over, we're still able to respect each other and understand that we were catalysts for our highest growth. So, Don Miguel Ruiz from The Mastery of Love says, you don't need to justify your love. You don't need to explain your love. You just need to practice your love. Practice creates the master. So with that being said, I hope you learn to be the master and not the disaster. Anyway, there's, that's what I like about polarities. There is a serious end, but there's also the end that we can laugh at. And maybe another video will talk about that, because we know that I dig the polarities. So have a great rest of your week, a fantastic weekend. I hope that you can change one thing when you're dealing with conflict and confrontation. Then as that gets to feeling more comfortable, maybe change something else. Find people that you want to model. Okay? See you next week. Bye.